Yo, we just changed the game with this one. Introducing AG number 2, the newest groundbreaking artificial intelligence software in the game. We got things like AI text generator, AI image generator, AI code generator, AI chat box, AI text to speech, and voiceover capabilities. Yes, it does coding. Yes, it does images. It literally does everything. Make sure you click the link at the top line of the description box. If you're a content creator, if you're an artist, if you're just a regular person that want to take your life to the next level, trust me, click that link at the top line. I want to address the elephant in the room real quick, and that's Jay-Z. Everybody's been talking about Jay-Z, Jay-Z, Jay-Z. First, why is he so silent? And everybody's saying that Jay-Z is going to be next. I keep seeing
Well,
it everywhere.
I've been saying that from day one of Mr. Cosby. I stood
Right.
on the steps of Montgomery Courthouse and I said, you know, Jay-Z, President Obama, LeBron James, they're not going to let you leave here as King James. They didn't let Mr. Cosby leave as America's dad. They're not going to have that happen. If you guys sit back idle and you don't come and stand with us and so show solidarity and put our resources together, you open yourself up. The only thing that's saving Jay-Z right now is his relationship with the Obamas and him being married to Beyonce.
Wow. Ooh,
However,
you got to break
don't
that.
don't believe and think they're gonna allow America to have two black dynasties.
Ooh.
And you got to understand, Jay-Z opened himself up at the Grammys when he criticized them.
Mhm. Yeah. Ooh.
When you criticize the gatekeeper and you talk about your wife has won more Grammys than anybody who has gotten album of the year. No, you attacking our own. How dare you? Who do you think you are? We let you, and then you're gonna take the Grammy Award and sip champagne out of it.
Right. Yep.
Look, the heat's coming. But what they're saying to Jay-Z, look, you're gonna have to be quiet. Because just last year, Diddy had a party at his LA home and you were there.
Right beside him. Yep.
Y'all were dapping it up. So, Jay-Z, you don't think Jay-Z's being interviewed right now?
Hmm.
Ooh.
Yes,
Look,
he is.
how are we going to allow you, this black man, to be over providing all of the entertainment for the Super Bowl halftime show, NBA All-Star game? And what Jay-Z has to understand, they have used you to take down other black people like the Chris Browns of the world. Look, Chris Brown
Ooh.
page is dead.
Ooh. Wow.
I remember being with Chris Brown. I have a photo I could send to you guys. My daughter was young. She was probably maybe 11 years old. My nephew at the time, he's doing federal time because he tried to rob a bank. He was probably 10 at the time, and some other young people. And these guys out of Chicago reached out to me because it was this young guy, Chris Brown. They was like, "We want you to meet him and possibly work with him." Man, when I met Chris Brown, I'll send you the photo, Sam.
Mhm.
Um, when I met him, he was this 19-year-old with no tattoos, just clean,
Mm-hmm.
doing backflips, and just a clean cut guy. And when you look at him now, man, because he's so angry and he's so frustrated. I'm not saying anything's about wrong with a tattoo. I'm just saying you look at how his image has changed because he's frustrated, because how he's being treated. First off, he was a young man when that happened with Rihanna. At the
Yep.
time, Rihanna was calling him, telling him happy birthday.
Mhm.
They had a cordial relationship. But what I'm saying, we have to stop tearing down each other. One thing you've never seen me go on any platform and tear down my own people. I give insight to what's going on, but I don't say this person is a bad person. But I have to remind people that if we have a show of unity, imagine if Mr. Cosby, Sean Combs, Sean Carter, Russell Simmons, Robert Kelly, if they all came together and stood together and they pull their resources together and say, you know what, we're going to set up some type of fund or nonprofit where we're going to dump each $40 to $50 million in here, and we're going to make sure that people have proper representation, because everybody deserves representation, because we're going to make sure the government cannot just come after us and make up, alleged allegations, because anyone can make up an accusation. Just because there's an accusation out there doesn't mean it's true.
Right.
But we live in a world now of social media where the government and mainstream media has said, you know what, let's throw a bone to these so-called influencers. They give our so-called influencers enough to say, okay, well, you get to be monetized. All you're probably making is maybe $25 or, max maybe $800, some people.
Right.
Only a select few are making the millions of dollars. They have to give a select few of us the opportunity to have 20, 30 million followers like Kai Cenat or whatever the guy name is. Because they have to say we're being fair. And we fall for it, and we was like, well, yeah, they got, but they only got 5 people that look like us who making $4 million a year off of social media.
Yeah.
Now, if we stop drinking the Kool-Aid and falling for the okie doke, because now they used to hold our neck back and force the Kool-Aid down our throat. We willingly drink the Kool-Aid now.
Oh yeah, heck yeah.
We willingly drink it now, and we willingly go on these platforms with no evidence, no proof. We have nobody from the business on. You guys are one of the few platforms that bring actual people on who have knowledge in that industry to educate the public. We have to quit falling for that game, because first of all, it's boring. And for Mr. Combs, look, I wish him the best. He can overcome this, but he can't overcome it unless you got somebody who's done it before.
Now, Diddy's track record, right, over the years, we've heard so many rumors about this dude the last 20 years, his sexuality, like I said, his business practices. For the most part, this is him. He stays silent. You know what I mean? He doesn't go out there. He's not throwing lawsuits. He's not really defending himself publicly. He kind of just lets things ride. Like, for example, like a 50 Cent. You're not talking about a 50 Cent the way you talk about Diddy. You have a lawsuit on your table in 20 minutes. You're not going to take us if you have a lawsuit on your table in 20 minutes. Yeah. So should Diddy, in your opinion, maybe change up some of that? And I know you alluded to earlier in the conversation, maybe him not personally coming out here and saying it, but some type of representation. Or if he were to say something going on the right platform and saying it, given the opportunity to make sure he puts the narrative the way it needs to be. Do you think he will do it, in your opinion?
Look, this is a different element for a different Sean Combs now.
Yeah.
Sean Combs has never faced the Homeland Security investigative team raiding his homes. It might have been a lawsuit here and there. Somebody suing for their publishings.
Right.
But we've never seen Sean Combs face civil suits at this level. Right. Not at a level where we have a hashtag Me Too. He's never seen this before. Silence is a beautiful thing. Look, I will always tell someone, when they reach your Miranda rights, they tell you have the right to remain silent. He does have the right to remain silent, but you got to find those surrogates that could go out on your behalf and say, this is not the man that I know.
Yeah.
And you gotta pull those individuals out now while you have some lifelines left. I always say you have, when allegations like these happen, you have a small window to cash in your poker chips. You got a small window to cash in those favors. So now is the time to say, hey, Mary, I need you. Mary, I need what as soon as the allegations happen against Mr. Cosby, the first person I called and asked to come out on his behalf at the height of it all in December of 2014 was Felicia Rashad.
Right.
So he has to start pooling those people because he has to create his own jury pool. Because they have tainted the jury pool against him now. They have shown you that no man who has a sexual assault allegation waged against him and charges have been filed is going to win in the Southern District of New York. Donald Trump didn't win. Robert Kelly didn't win. Jeffrey Epstein didn't win.
Right.
They have Harvey Weinstein didn't win.
Right.
All in New York. They have shown you that when they select a juror supposed to be of your peers, and you have to understand, and research has shown it, that the level of education of a juror is 7th grade.
Wow.
Research shows that. Go do the research. And what I'm saying, you have to be out now putting information out there to potential jurors.
Because public perception is important, and that's pretty much what they're riding off of.
Right, because you got two courtrooms. You got the courtroom where the case will happen, and then you got the courtroom on the steps and outside, the court of public opinion.
Yeah.
If you don't win on the courtroom outside, how do you win inside? Because right now, okay, tell me when you go and you have most jurors are sequestered. Nobody's sequestered right now because charges have not been filed. So while they have not been sequestered,
great point,
and they have the capabilities of being on their phone, watching social media, listening to the news, reshape your narrative.
Yeah, absolutely.
Reshape the narrative right now. Because you have the ability right now to control the message. You have the ability right now to control the mind. You still have influence. Look, you gave Howard University $1 million. They took your money, didn't give it back, but took your name off everything. We've seen that story before where they did it to Bill Cosby. Every university, PWIs and HBCUs, took the money and gave nothing back. You're not going to get that goodwill ambassador money back.
Right.
Those people have already formulated an opinion of you. You have to reach the mind of the 7th grader. You have to reach that mindset that's going to die to get on a jury, overseeing a potential Diddy trial, alleged Diddy trial. Because why? They see a book opportunity in it for them. You got to understand, now people are going to really ride your coattail and you have no way to stop it.
Yeah.
People are going to make money off of you and you have no way to stop it because you know what? They have painted you as a monster.
Yeah.
That's a good, what do you think about, because you saying that, right, makes me think of, you see a lot of Diddy's former artists, former employees that in hindsight may have spent a month with him, but they know this man's whole life story. They're on every platform, every publication saying that, oh yeah, I remember when Diddy was here doing this. Oh, I remember when Diddy was here doing that, doing this. Them disgruntled employees coming out and saying all kind of stuff, and we're running with it. Like everybody's running with it. What do you think about that dynamic?
Because somebody has been on the inside of a person's life doesn't mean that they know everything.
That's a fact.
The cook was just a cook. You know what I'm saying? He was just a cook.
Right.
The server was no different than the waitress in a restaurant. She just plated the meal and put it on the table.
Right.
They were not privy to sitting at the table with him and having dinner with him. But because somebody worked in your establishment, it's no different than an employee working in a conglomerate. How many times do you think they get to see the president?
Word.
Or even the executive vice president? They
Right.
don't. They only know their job description. But anybody can make up a story, especially in the era that we live in now. Because I could just go online right now. I could put up, if I wanted to, I could create a whole narrative against anybody I work with. You know, Terrence Howard and I, we were together in December and we're doing some stuff together right now. And I could paint him right now. Because I remember I was having lunch with Lester Holt, and he said to me at lunch, he said, what advice would you give to a person who has any form of celebrity? And the first thing I said, be careful with who you take a picture with.
Mm.
I said, because if you're in the picture, you can be framed.
Yeah. Ooh. That was a bar right there, Mr. Wyatt.
Yes, sir.
That was a bar right there.
Yeah. You know, you can be framed. So be careful who you take that picture with. You know, because somebody could take Sam Ogard, somebody could take a picture with y'all right now, and they just saw y'all coming out because they see your podcast and they want to get you. And then the next thing you know, see, I was with him early in the day and he raped me. A picture speaks 1,000 words, but right now it speaks millions of words of your guilt or your innocence. Somebody's in somebody's picture right now and they are on somebody there. It's in a frame. And now it doesn't have to be a frame hanging on the wall. It's a frame in your cell phone. You are a frame.
Yeah.
And when you're a frame, that means you can be framed.
This was powerful.
Yeah, needed.
Yeah.
Needed.
So I say to everybody, you are no longer regular. The moment you can Google your name, you lost the ability to be regular. We're not in the 50s and 60s or 70s anymore where you can go knock on the door and Marvin Gaye is listed in the white pages.
Right.
That era is gone.
Right.
We're in a different environment now. And the minute that I can Google you and you're recognizable, your status has elevated and you're no longer regular. So regular folks can't do regular things anymore. So your circle becomes tighter and you watch what you say. Your security person can't know everything about you.
Right.
They're your security to secure you from facing bodily harm. They're not your security to know what's happening in your marriage and your relationship. It's none of their business. Because the minute they get a piece of some impropriety in your personal life, they have the ability to use it against you when they don't get what they want or they see you make more than them.
Yep. Great point.
So unless you're putting your security team in the same lifestyle as you, they're gonna form some type of envy against you. Look, I tell everybody the most dangerous person in the world is a lazy person with ambition.
Ooh, don't we know it? Don't we know it? Man.
This is the most dangerous person in the world because they got They lazy. They don't do nothing all day, but they have the ambition to take you down. And you could crack a person's head open, and you could put all type of knowledge in there, but you can't put ambition in there.
It's a fact.
So what Diddy has to understand, what Mr. Combs has to understand, is that he got a lot of lazy people around him who got ambition. And those same lazy people took that ambition in your circle because you move with too many people. When you move with too many people, the binoculars are not meant to rotate. They're meant to be still and give you a visual. Your binoculars can't rotate. You can't rotate your head and see what everybody is doing. While you're stunned walking around, you got some guy in the back of you frowning, mean mugging you. Like, man, who did he think he really is? But you're paying him.
Yeah.
He's a lazy person with ambition.
Don't we know it? Got any more?
Nah.
Yeah, we're gonna drop the gavel right there, man.
Yeah,
Andrew Wyatt on the Uncensored podcast, man. We appreciate you. We know you're a busy brother. We can go on all day, man, but we're not gonna do that.
I enjoy talking to you guys, man, and thank you for having me on. And my only reason for coming on is not about me, is to educate people on. We have to be careful on how we subject our words to deeming a person guilty, because we don't like them because of personal things we've heard in the industry. And I always said, put your personal feelings aside. Think about, they're setting a precedent, the federal government. If we could do this to him, then we could come into they could come into our backyards and do this to us. So we have to stand against some of these things, and we have to be a visible force when these trials happen. And that's where the people who listen and watch your podcast, your subscribers, they have to put the resources. $20 add up to $100, $100 add up to $1,000, and say, you know what? I want Hip Hop Uncensored. If this thing should ever go to trial, I want Hip Hop Uncensored there. I want them to have media credentials so they could report everything that's actually happening in that courtroom, because mainstream media, they're going to redirect the narrative, and they're going to tell the story to benefit their sponsors. They make $1 billion on the hour every time Donald Trump is in the news. Now they're making more billions because they have another Black celebrity that they're about to take down, Mr. Combs, and they're about to take him down. But he can stop this. He can stop this witch hunt right now with the right strategists, in his corner, and giving him the right, decisions to make, and to say, look, you don't have to say a word, just be present.
Real quick before we get out of here, at this present juncture, I know you said you haven't spoken to him yet, but has anybody from his team as of March 26th reached out to you?
No, they have not. No, they have not. Different people have reaching out to me from major mainstream news entities, which they always do reach out, asking if I would come on board. And I always lead people, and I'll leave you guys with this: everybody deserves representation.
Absolutely.
Andrew Wyatt on the Hip Hop Uncensored podcast. We always appreciate your knowledge. Always appreciate you picking up the phone within minutes.
Yes, sir.
Not days, not months, minutes.
Yes, sir.
Man,
I pride myself on that. That I believe, I tell everybody, my pet peeve, and when I worked in the news business, I learned it. My pet peeve is a person who can't pick up the phone. That bothers me. It just bothers me, because that's the easiest. It's easier than doing a text message. You got to type it and do it. When you could just hit the number, and I could just get you on the phone and say, yeah, I'll do it. That's one of my biggest pet peeves with not picking up the phone. Everybody wants to just do whatever and not returning a phone call. Everybody, even if the answer is no, give that person the respect, because they're a human being like you, and return their phone calls. You're not too big. I'm never going to be too big to return a phone call. I'm working on my book right now. And when that happens, I'm never going to be too big to say I'm going to take Sam or Olga. I'm not going to ever be too big not to take your call. I wanted to show you guys the respect and level of respect I had for you. When I first did your show, I drove to you.
Yes, you did.
Yes, appreciate that.
So, man, y'all have a great day, man. Be blessed, and maybe your families be blessed, man, as we come up on Passover. And just remember, that we were taken out the hands of bondage and delivered to a land that's still not our land, and we're wandering around miserable. And that's why we see so many things happen to us, because this is not our land. It's still on a strange land. And y'all enjoy your families, man.
Hey, man, you the same. We appreciate you. Angel Wyatt on the Hip Hop Uncensored podcast, brother. We appreciate you. Salute.
Thank you.